Next, we have our panel, and just let me put on the screen so that you can see who else is with us. Sudhir from Lenskart and Abhinav from Cars24. And Dharmesh remains with us again from CanCertain, as you just saw and heard. So I have a bunch of questions to ask Sudhir and to ask Abhinav, especially because you guys have been here for a little while now, and you are expanding aggressively from what I can see, and what the market trends look like. It looks like that you've established a solid base in the region, especially in the UAE, and you're looking to expand further as well. So Sudhir, let's start with you. What advice do you think you would give to an early stage startup who's looking to expand into the Gulf? I mean, Lenskart and Cars24, they come already from a solid foundation back in India, where some of the teething troubles of early stage startups have been resolved. But if you had to give an advice to a founder with a new startup, what do you think would be some things to keep in mind for them? Sudhir.
Sure. Thanks, Roman. Pleasure to be here, and good to have Abhinav, and you've chosen the right people for the panel. So it's good to have the right people here.
Yep.
Great.
Pleasure is all ours.
I think 3 points of feedback, right? Yep. One is the Middle East is not homogeneous as a market. I think that the expat population in each of these countries is extremely high. The ethnicities are varied. The pricing, the ability to pay for various products is also extremely high. In fact, we found that when we increase prices on certain products, the sales actually go up, right? And hence, really understanding the market and then understanding your product market fit is most important, right? And when I say product market fit is on the one side, what consumers want to buy at what price, for what, but also figuring out your costs, because depending on what your unit costs are, employee costs is one part, but your logistics or supply chain costs, as they may be, and Abhinav set up an entire plant, so he would know better, right? But that can also be quite complicated, right? So I think these are the two important points I would articulate. And then the third point is ensuring your legal structuring and your financing structuring is also on point, and spending enough time to ensure you have the right legal partners, because it's very easy to make some serious mistakes which can then bite you later.
Right. Abhinav, would you sort of agree with those? And then would you have anything else to add?
Hi, thank you for having me today. I completely actually agree with Sudhir's points. In fact, would also add that a couple of things we also realize with experience. One, Indian startups come into UAE and they think that there are so many Indians here. Right? Mm-hmm. But we have to understand that they are just Indian passport holders. They don't behave like Indians back in our country. So that's like a very, very important insight that we have to understand, that back in India, the behavior of Indians is not similar to Indian passport holders in this country, right? Mm-hmm. They want to behave the way people behave in Dubai, right? So that's I think one critical difference that we realize, and I think that also ties up to the level of customer experience that this country expects, right? So the same Indian passport holders expect a way higher level of customer experience that, say, people back in India do. I think that's another area where people will not agree to anything and everything that we give to them. People are demanding. People will expect a much better level of experience. To that point, I think this market has extremely high digital penetration, right? Pretty much 100%. Everyone is connected through a device. So word of mouth, typically. People don't refrain from writing on social media. People don't refrain from expressing their views here. The education levels of the people who we are targeting actually are fairly good. So this market can also be very non-forgiving for, say, poor experience or poor execution. So extremely important to be super well planned and take experience very seriously. I think that's one of the things that I would very strongly highlight. Completely agree with Sudhir on the legal bit. The structures here, of course, the ease of doing business is great in this country, but it's also equally important to have the right partners to understand, preempt, assess the gray areas well, and also sometimes even leverage what the government is offering. So legal bit is for sure extremely important. I think UAE, in my view, you will get an answer from this market pretty early. Right? So unlike other markets where you keep holding on and you keep hoping for an answer, I think you will get a proof of concept. You will get your answers from this market, whether it is working or not, at a very early stage. So